going on, everybody? It's Geoff Grammer with the ABQJournal. I am in the pit. It is pregame in the pit. About 50 minutes away, 49 minutes and 17 seconds if you're counting at home, before the UNM Lobos play UC Riverside, the Highlanders of the Big West. This will be the second show of the day for me. I was also on earlier. I hope you guys can hear me because, man, it's been about 15 shows in a row with no audio problems, and something's going on where I can't quite hear myself very well. But anyway, we are in the pit. Let me pull up the see what the latest line is here. And
you notice Uriah street closed, lower body day to day, just not playing tonight.
Can't say when it happened or anything. Was it?
You probably remember he took a fall at the end of the last game.
Thank you, sir. Good on sound. Sorry about that. You guys can hear me just fine. I'm sorry. Sound is good. Thank you, guys. I am being told, for those that are starting to arrive in the pit, you'll see it too. Uriah Tenet, the freshman who's been fantastic, by the way, is in street clothes tonight. And I did not know he was hurt, but apparently late in the game when he took a fall, Saturday late in that game against UT Arlington. I'm looking for him right now. I actually don't see him. But anyway, Uriah Tenet, freshman, is out. While you guys are already listening to me, I do need to post this real quick to some other social media. But, yeah, Uriah Tenet is out. I'm told lower body, told day-to-day. And now I see him over there in street clothes sitting on the bench across the way. He's with Samarius Jones, who is redshirting this year. The two of them are sitting on the visiting bench right now while their teammates in special green Veterans Day shooting shirts that say Lobos and playing up the Veterans Day, the camouflage green, I guess, for Veterans Day. So there you go. There you have it. Uriah Tenet is out. You guys are learning this as I am learning it pretty much right as I clicked on there. Steve Kirkland of UNM Sports Information Director came over and let me know. All right, so I will be previewing this here in 1 second. Okay, so here we are. UNM Lobos 2-0. They're hosting tonight UC Riverside. This will be the third game of their opening season kind of homestand. And all three opponents are going to be double-digit underdogs. The Lobos, I wouldn't say these are lower 300 levels, but these are certainly 200 level teams in all the rankings. And these are not the toughest of opponents. They aren't the weakest in Division I. There have been certainly a lot weaker teams in Division I that some Mountain West schools have been playing, and the Lobos have done that for years. And, yeah, this is nobody that I guess Lobo fans are overly excited about, but don't entirely overlook them either. Gus Arginal is the first-year coach at UC Riverside, longtime Eric Musselman assistant coach at both Arkansas and at Nevada. So he's familiar with the pit. He's familiar with the Mountain West. He's coached in this building before. He knows what he's about to get into with that student section sitting over there right by the visiting bench. And let's go. Trying to figure out when I'll figure that as we go. As I wrote in a preview article today, the Lobos defense has been extremely good so far this season. I will play some video from a video I posted on social media that Eric Olin and Chris Howell both talked about their defense a little bit and like kind of what makes it special, right? You shouldn't be overly surprised. I think we all got caught up, we meaning myself included, because I'm the one who's been reporting and trying to tell you guys like what this team's all about, right? What Eric Olin's offense and defense are about. And maybe we all oversold it a little bit. Maybe we shouldn't have been hyping up all the three-pointers and all the offense because that sure hasn't gotten going. It got going in the second half a little bit Saturday. But the offense has not been what's been impressive so far. It's been the defense. And maybe that shouldn't be a surprise. They were a top 30 defense. They were better at defense at UC San Diego last year when they made the NCAA tournament than they were at offense. They were ranked number 3 in the country out of 364 Division I teams in steal rate. And so the fact that they have so far already forced opponents into 25 or 45 turnovers, maybe we shouldn't be overly surprised by that. And so far, that is what has kind of been the story of their season is their defense. Their offense is starting to come around, and they are confident. There's nothing that has scared these coaches into thinking, oh, man, maybe our offense isn't what we thought it was going to be. They're still confident it's coming around, and they've had the luxury of a borderline. I've used the word borderline because I don't want to go too far in it because their second half is sort of lapsed a little bit defensively, but they've had elite first half defense and overall borderline elite defense. It has taken a little step back in the second half of both games, but not too much. Like they've held opponents to pretty low shooting numbers, to high turnovers, to really low points per possession numbers, and it's been impressive. The historical context of this is, even though they're playing who they're playing, some people want to point that out and kind of harp on, well, yeah, but who have they done it against? Well, here's who they've done it against. They've done it against teams that are higher ranked and not non-Division I opponents like Northern New Mexico, Adams State, Western New Mexico Highlands, those kind of schools. Those factored into the Steve Alford era, the Craig Neal era, the Paul Weir era, Richie McCabe, Richard Pitino, Fran Fraschillo. In the Mountain West era, what these Lobos have done has never been done in back-to-back games, and that is hold an opponent under 36% shooting and force more than 20 turnovers. That has not been done in the Mountain West era in back-to-back games by the Lobos, and that includes games against NAIA Northern New Mexico, against Western, against 350th ranked Central Arkansas, those kind of opponents that have come in here and will come in this year too. This has not been done, what they've done through two games. So yes, the opponents are what the opponents are, but they've had these types of opponents before and they've not done what they've been doing defensively. It has been very impressive what they've done. Richie, what's up? John Romero's in on YouTube. After all the early season cupcakes, Lobos might be on the verge of diabetes. Should they lose to the Aggies, hopefully Gigi will state that perhaps the Emperor has no clothes. So I will say that come Saturday when they play New Mexico State, it'll clearly be their best opponent. As for the cupcakes, New Mexico State will have not played one Division I opponent by Saturday. So by the second Saturday of the season, New Mexico State will be playing its first Division I game against a Lobos team that will be playing its fourth in the regular season, and they play two Division I opponents in the exhibition. So this will be the sixth opponent they've played that's a Division I opponent, whereas the Aggies have not played one yet. So, yes, I get it, John and others. Like the cupcake thing, it's not new. It's not an Eric Olin thing. It is a Richard Pitino thing. It is a Steve Alford thing. It is a Craig Neal thing. Don't come to the pit anymore. Last year, they had a neutral site opponent in UCLA, which was nice for the Lobos, and of course the Lobos won, and they had Donovan Dent. This Lobo team is going to neutral site next week, where they play. Is that next week already? Yeah, Kansas City, right? That's already next week. So Nebraska, and then the winner or loser, depending on what they do in the first game, of either Mississippi State or Kansas State. So those four teams are in the Hall of Fame Classic in Kansas City, Missouri at T-Mobile Arena. They will be playing New Mexico. Will be playing they'll be playing Nebraska first, and then either Mississippi State or Kansas State after that. Asterisks for everyone. I agree. It's not only a renovation asterisk needed for attendance charts. It's an asterisk for every defensive stat that these Lobos produce. We'll give credit to the Lobos of the past for doing it also against cupcakes. Nobody had more cupcakes than the Dave Bliss era of the 90s and padded a whole lot of stats. And those were considered some of the most exciting and best Lobo teams, right? The teams can still be good even when they're playing these opponents. And just as a reminder, for the reason they play teams like this, it's because this Lobo basketball program still supports financially the football program across the street. You want to keep Jason Eck, you better get the money from basketball right now, because football's not bringing it in yet. You bring it in for 3 or 4 years for football, like they are on the path to doing. They've not yet completed one season under Eck, but they're on the right path for football. But let's not kid ourselves. Financially, and I write about the finances every year, basketball needs home games to make this whole athletic department survive. That is why they play these games. All right, pulling up a video file now. See how this audio comes across. I'm not entirely sure if it is formatted that'll show up on the show very well. because I made it for social media videos, but let's pull it up and see how it's come.
About being connected, being versatile,
I can't even
and making it difficult in certain areas of the floor. I mean, I think there's a lot of different ways to do it. Defensively, like everybody kind of plays their own style. But it's not so much about confusion as it is about, versatility. We want to make things difficult. We want to get people out of like the comfortable places that they're in, right? So whether that's teams that run a lot of plays, right? We maybe don't want you to get all your shots and actions out of the rhythm of, hey, these are the plays we run. This is the structure we play out of. We want people to have to get outside of that and kind of do it themselves. Certain isolation teams, or like you're running less action, then we want to kind of force you to do more moving the ball. Like trying to make people uncomfortable would be a better term than confusing them.
And so that was Eric Olin talking about, I had asked him basically, what is it about your defense that's made it so successful so far early on? I thought it was more confusion. He says not so much confusion. But Chris Howell, who played in this defense last year for UC San Diego and for Eric Olin, he kind of had the same opinion. He kind of had the same sort of agreeing with me that, yeah, part of it is about confusing the other team. It's about making them think, ultimately. They both agree with that. Whereas Eric Olin is asking the opponent to think about that next play and get out of what they wanted to do, so they're reacting, and now they have to kind of think about what to do. Chris Howell saying this defense is at least a little bit about making them just kind of get confused.
What is it about the defense? Is it that you guys always have somebody in someone's face? Is it that they can't get the shot off? Does it actually confuse them at times? Because it seems like they spend multiple possessions just trying to figure out what you guys are doing out there.
That's what Coach Olin loves to do. He loves to mess with the other team's mind. So, yeah, we love to confuse the offense. We love to throw different things. As far as we love to ball pressure, get into guys. Coach Olin's biggest kind of defensive quote is make the offense do a second thing. So if you get them out of control going downhill, they get an easy pass out. Okay, now we're making that next guy do a second thing. Instead of just catching and shooting, we want him to put the ball on the floor, make them now do what the first guy did, and it just speeds the offense up, and that's what we love to do. So.
There you go. It's Chris Howell. That is Eric Olin talking about what they're trying to get out of their defense, which is take the other team out of what they want to do, right? That's what a lot of defenses do, obviously. Some teams let the other team kind of get their first choice and then shut down everything else. Some defenses are predicated on just man-to-man suffocating. My guy's going to beat your guy just one-on-one. This is more of a zone defense, a team concept of chaos. Controlled aggression is the terms they use. And as Chris Howell said, it is about making them do the second thing. Whatever they want to do first, force them out of that first thing, make them then think about, okay, well, what's the second thing? That just takes a couple seconds. Look, 30-second shot clocks aren't that long, so you kind of make them get into that second action. Well, if they were planning an action that takes 10 seconds in the first place, then you get them into that second action, you're down to under 20 seconds in the shot clock, and they're starting the second action. And then that's why you will see a lot of Lobo opponents this year, and you've seen it so far. You've seen a lot of Lobo opponents get late in the shot clock. And then people say, well, they missed a bunch of wide open shots. Look how late a lot of those wide open shots are. The wide open shots are because it's guys that shouldn't be taking those shots, and it's late in the shot clock, and they don't have any other choice at that point. So, yeah, I mean, look, the fact that opposing teams keep missing shots against them, sometimes there's a reason the guy that's wide open keeps missing that wide open shot. It's because that's exactly what the Lobos want them to do, is that guy shooting that shot. Sometimes that's what defenses are doing. Sometimes it's random. A lot of times it's not. So, how's it going? Eric's in on YouTube. I'm in the pit. It's loud. What is Uriah's injury? I see he's not playing tonight. Someone please type the answer. I can't hear. I cannot. Let's see here. I cannot get in. I'm trying to answer in here. Lower body injury, day to day for Uriah. just typed the answer in there for you, Eric. Hopefully you can see it in YouTube. For those that don't know, I'm also going to post it here on X and let people here in the in University Arena know that update. UNM Lobo freshman point guard. All right. Sorry about that. Updating, doing a couple things at once here, updating on social media. And there you go. All right, we got some winners. We got some early winners of the Where's Geoff Grammer contest. And I will update those here in just a minute. We got one right behind me here. And then we got another one here. So, all right. Let's catch up with you guys now. Chance for Miller to step up, I would agree. Right now, we don't have anybody, either team on the court, so I will back off on this. I will show more of my lovely face right now. You guys get more of me. Javis Miller's a guy that I think in the first game last Wednesday played really well. Thought it was a bit of a coming out party for him because he hadn't shown a whole lot necessarily in either exhibition game. He's the Summit League six-man player of the year or six-man of the year last year. And he's looked really good in practice. I thought he was going to play a little better, and he frankly just hadn't played great in either exhibition game. Kind of quiet on Saturday, but in none of those games would I say he was hurting the team. He had a good game last Wednesday offensively, an active game. And I would say, tonight with Uriah Tenet out, like there's going to be some more minutes in that rotation, and I would say he's certainly one that could benefit from some more of those minutes. So this is true. Justin Martinez, asterisk. The pit was under construction in 2009-2010 season. For those that don't remember, is when they did the renovation. They added a whole bunch of suites. So that is correct. Any attendance figures that I put out there need that context because, as we know, context matters. Richie's in journalism. That's right. Let's see. Eric Markham, I agree. I hope Miller gets those minutes. I would imagine that Dayton Albury could push 30 minutes tonight. He hasn't yet. So far, he hasn't really – nobody's to hit 30-minute mark yet for any of these players. As the season goes on, I do think that there will be some 30-minute Lobos, though. And I think Dayton Albury is probably going to be one of them. But that doesn't mean in lieu of minutes for Uriah. I think they're going to play together a lot more than I would have anticipated earlier on. Jeff Fullscreen, I know everyone's so excited, aren't you guys? Hopefully we'll get some basketball on the court back here pretty soon. So, all right. So I meant to do this earlier. I'm going to pull up old VegasInsider.com. Nothing says it's a college basketball game on, like pulling up the old betting lines right before the game, right? NCAA basketball odds. Let's see what we got. I know they love it when I pull this up in the arena. UC Riverside is now they're at 19.5-point underdogs. So the Lobos are favored by 19.5. That's a steep line. They've covered their first two lines. I don't know that they covered that tonight. They've been playing really well. The defense has been great. The offense has been okay. Actually, the offense has been average to below average. I'll be honest about that. Second half of last game probably brought up last game's average overall to average. But I'd say last week against East Texas A&M, it was a below-average offense and a superb defense. Saturday, I would say it was an average offense and a superb defense. And they won those two games by 22 and 18, respectively. I would say tonight it's going to be hard to get another 20-point win, third of the year, against UC Riverside. Riverside, remember, Riverside's not a bad team. They are coming off a win, a Division I win, out on the road at North Dakota. Let me pull up Riverside for you. UC Riverside ranked 266 in KenPom right now. Early in the year, those rankings don't mean much. This could be a lot better team than that. Gus Arginal is like I said, the longtime Musselman assistant at Nevada and Arkansas. Last Thursday, they were at North Dakota, and they beat North Dakota on the road, so they already have a road win. beat them 74-70 in that game. They got two really good guards, is what Eric Olin says. Marquis Worthy, a transfer from UMass, is a 6'4" junior guard who scored 21 points in that win over North Dakota on last Thursday. And he did it mostly inside. We did it all inside. 0 for 2 from three-point range, 6 of 7 from two-point shots, but he got fouled a lot. He drew a whole bunch of fouls. He was 9 for 11 from the free throw line. He had 5 rebounds, 5 assists. He did have 4 turnovers, but also 2 steals. Very active player. Marquis Worthy is the guy that the Lobos are keeping an eye on, right? And they're going to try and take him out of what he wants to do. That is his goal. That is his the Lobos' goal is to take the opponent out of their first choice, and their first choice is Marquis Worthy. I want to show you. Let's go back to the New Mexico analytics here on KenPom. I wanted to look up Dayton Albury, and I don't know what the number is offhand, but I'm telling you it's going to be pretty high. So fouls drawn per 40 minutes. I believe it's been 6 fouls drawn in 3 consecutive games for Dayton Albury. And, he's averaging 7.3 fouls drawn per 40 minutes in 2 regular season games. Tomislav Bullion is averaging 6.3 fouls drawn per 40 minutes. Both of those numbers are like lead-the-league type numbers. Now, they do settle down once league play starts, so those numbers will probably be lower. But for context, those numbers, drawing that many fouls, those are the type of numbers that lead the Mountain West at the end of the regular season. In fact, let's see what fouls per 40 minutes led the Mountain West last year. All right, so if we go to the Mountain West last year, the leader in fouls per 40 minutes was this year, was Elijah Price at Fresno State, and he was the KenPom wrong rating there. All right, he was drawing 6.0 fouls per 40 minutes, led the Mountain West during conference play in fouls drawn per 40 minutes. That was Elijah Price. Again, 7.3 is what Dayton Albury is averaging right now through just 2 games, and Tomislav Bullion is averaging 6.3. Both of those guys have numbers of fouls drawn that would have led the league last year in fouls drawn per 40 minutes. So there you go. They've been drawing a lot of fouls. Love what Olin has done with this team. Hawk James is in on YouTube. Love what Olin has done with this team. Would like the offense to show more, but defense has been amazing. I agree, and he would agree with you as well. This offense so far has not shown what they want. It has not been up to speed. It is coming around. It has not been. He has not suggested he's disappointed in it, but I think in an honest moment they would tell you they're a little surprised that it's been a little bit slower coming around than they thought it would be. So I agree with you, Hawk, man. I saw these guys in practice in the offseason, and I thought the offense would be ahead of the defense. I thought they'd be hitting shots, knocking down shots. They haven't yet really gotten to that. So we do have some basketball back on the court. Let's not that one. How about this one? It's Big Jeff time. Nick is in on YouTube. Nick, actually, since I'm blocking you guys with the comments there, got UC Riverside here warming up. Actually, take a look over here. That's Jason Eck down on the court. For those wondering what Jason Eck is doing, he's down there talking. It's a Gator. He's talking with Casey down there. Casey Byers, the head all of you guys complimenting the creative team. The guy in the red right there is head of the creative team that has been knocking it out of the park with Jason Eck and Lobo football and doing all those TV spoofs and all those kind of social media videos. Casey's the head guy there. Head guys get all the credit, right? They get all the blame too if you want to give it to them. And there's a lot of other people that are the behind the scenes that are killing it with that kind of stuff too. I'm just telling you, the guy that he's talking to right now is the head of that. Nicholas is in on YouTube saying, curious to see how we rebound this game. Has been slightly lower than the opponent the last 2 games. That is true. That is what New Mexico State has that I would be concerned about if I'm a Lobo fan heading into Saturday. New Mexico State and Jason Heaton's teams are tough. They're physical. They will rebound. This Riverside team has size. It's going to be the biggest team the Lobos have played, and the Lobos haven't been great at rebounding. They need their guards to help out on rebounding a little bit more. So we'll see. I will say that teams that shoot really, really poorly, like the Lobos have had both of their opponents do so far in East Texas A&M and UT Arlington on Saturday, when a team's shooting percentage is that low, they tend to pick up a handful at least more offensive rebounds, right? You miss more on the offensive end, you tend to get more. The rebounding numbers sometimes, especially the offensive boards, tend to get skewed a little bit when you're shooting so poorly, and that absolutely is what the Lobos have kind of been holding their opponents to is horrible shooting. That's not the full answer. That is not an excuse. That is, they have not been rebounding as good as they need to if they want to be competitive this year, but it is a part of the equation. Dude behind Geoff is just demolishing them chicken strips. Is he? Should I ask him about it? Is he over this shoulder here? Should I ask him about it? You see Tiki Smith down there for all you fans of Mark Tiki Smith. I see him talking to Hunter Green down there on the big screen, if you will, on the court monitor. Matthew's asking, where's Sean? I don't know, man. This whole last Tuesday night, I did a show without Sean. This Tuesday night, I'm doing a show without Sean. It's almost like that guy's kind of just mailing it in now that he's got first place. Wins the New Mexico Press Association first place award in sports writing. The guy just kind of mails it in from now on, and I don't get it, Matt. Like he's kind of mailing it in a little bit. So there we go. All right, guys. We got Mark Smith coming in here, coming in hot. What's up, dude? Try not to knock over my drink here, Mark. Yeah, go through. Scoot it in. You just scoot it in. All right. Obstacle course on press row. You guys got to witness it all. Some other Mountain West games going on tonight. Let's pull up those. Some exciting games this week in the Mountain West, and I pulled them up, or I wrote them in today's Around the Mountain column today that I write every Monday night. By the way, I posted my Around the column that shows up in print in Tuesday's editions of the Albuquerque Journal, but it shows up online Monday nights and obviously still online. Tonight's Mountain West games. Austin P has tipped off at Wyoming. That game started at 6:30. Austin P, who has the best chance in all of college athletics, and I am not kidding, for those who know me and I joke often, this is not a joke. Austin P's chant is let's go P. Let's go P. So Austin P is playing Wyoming tonight in Laradice, and it is 2-0 a minute into the game for all those wondering what the score is. At 7 o'clock tonight, Boise State's back in action in their Extra Mile Arena. There's no renovations going on at Extra Mile Arena, so they should get a full crowd. UT Rio Grande Valley is playing. That is a Division I opponent. This game will count. And Boise State just took it to their Division I opponent last week. They did not take it to their Division II opponent, but they took it to a good Utah Valley team after the wake-up call in that D2 loss to Hawaii Pacific. And what that means is the D2 game, because it was non-Division I, didn't even count in the metrics, in the computer metrics. So Boise State actually rose 9 spots in the KenPom rankings in Week 1, despite losing to having the worst loss in the Mountain West, a loss to a Division I point loss, but a loss to a Division II team, because it doesn't even count when it's a Division II opponent. Montana's playing at UNLV tonight. First of all, the other game is going to be, it's already final. Long Island University played at the Academy earlier today, Air Force. They beat them 76-72, did LIU, beat the Cadets, the Falcons at Air Force. That is an 0-3 start, 0-2 at home for Joe Scott's Air Force Falcons, who, by the way, with the government shutdown, they kind of have some limitations on some of the stuff they can do. Now, they can still obviously play games, but a lot of the government shutdown 100% affects things on the Air Force Academy that these cadets are going through. So I want to mention that the Montana UNLV game, Montana at UNLV, Montana is a team that right now is starting one. Make sure he's starting. I guess they don't have the starting lineup set for tonight. Yeah, they don't. But he has started so far. Kenyon Aguino from Albuquerque's Volcano Vista is a freshman, and he's actually been playing good. He had double-digit points in their first game, and he is in the starting lineup as a true freshman at Montana, the Grizz. Nicholas is in. curious to see how we rebound this game. I already did that one, so I will, with my excited voice, jump ahead to Justin. Due behind me is in the chicken strips. I guess I reset these. Yep, I did. I reset these comments, so you guys are getting the same ones from earlier. All right, inferior teams bring less people to the pit. Okay, 8,500 season ticket base. They're still making money. You can't afford to pay Duke to come here because Duke won't come here because Duke makes $1 million every home game, so they don't. The big schools won't come here. You don't have a whole lot of options unless you want to pay all the money you're making for a home game. So I know a lot of people want to make this into something it's not. They try hard to get Texas Tech, Arizona, BYU. Look at their schedules. None of them play road games until conference play. It doesn't happen anymore and hasn't really for a decade. Certainly since COVID, it just doesn't happen anymore. Can't be good financially. They're not doing it because it's bad financially. I'm telling you, major programs in college basketball, the ones that need to make money off their basketball programs, only play home games. UNM is one of those because football is not making the money. So you want to bring Jason Eck back, you have to play home basketball games, even if it's UC Riverside. That is just it. They're mandated within their department to play, I think it's 18 home games a year. That is the reality of it. It's not an excuse like, why aren't they playing someone tough? They can't get anybody tough here, and yet they have to play games here because they cannot otherwise afford to run football at all. Set it up there. The Lobos are warming up over there. For those that don't know, Uriah Tenet is in street clothes tonight. I'm being told is officially a lower body injury. He was hurt in Saturday's game against UT Arlington. I thought rev share started this year. How has basketball paid for football before? Well, football lost money. Football did not pay the electric bill. Football did not afford to pay for its coaches. Football did not pay for its coaching staff. That was all done because basketball made money. Rev share this year has started, and the donations given to UNM through the Lobo Club and the Lobo Alliance that are specifically earmarked towards rev share for student athletes, the vast majority, we're talking millions of dollars, have been earmarked by donors to go to basketball. And this team has, I know you guys don't believe me, this team has millions of dollars in rev share, a couple million in rev share on this basketball team. And we're now getting some. So football does not have that. Football's rev share is way down, and they're increasing it to try and keep Jason Eck happy, to keep the football players happy, to retain. But the numbers aren't the same, and that's because donors, the guys actually giving their money, are requesting it go to basketball. All right, Packers Craziness is saying, do we have a starting lineup yet? Check. I don't think we do, but I've also not pulled it up, so I don't know why I would say I don't think we do. We do not. No starting lineup posted on the stat broadcast that I have, but I will tell you I would expect it to be the same as Saturday, which was Uriah Tenet, Jake Hall, Chris Howell as the three guards, Antonio Chol as the forward, and Tomislav Bullion as the other forward. So, thoughts on Xavier Santa Clara game last night? I'll tell you, Tomas, I knew this Xavier team was going to be bad. I've talked to Richard about it. He didn't say that. Don't get it twisted. I did not think they were going to be that good when I found out who they were taking from UNM, and they were going to end up with Philip Borovishinin and Jovan Milicevic, and Philip, who is starting for Xavier just like he was starting here. I knew it wasn't going to be the upgrade that maybe people assumed because it was Xavier and a Big East team. I don't know that the individual talent level might be really good there. I don't think you got to remember, he's new there too, right? The individual talent level may be good. They're in their first year. They played 3 games. It's not going to look good for a lot of first-time coaches playing with almost an entirely new lineup, and that's kind of what he has. So, yeah, I don't expect Xavier to be good this year. I expect UNM to be much better than Xavier this year, much better. And not a lot of people agree with me on that. I doubt Richard agrees with me on that, but I do. I do think that UNM will finish higher in the metrics than Xavier does this year. All right, so abqjournal.com/subscribe is how you guys can help out local journalism. That helps shows like this, helps our coverage every day. abqjournal.com is where all our stories post, including a post-game recap. We'll have video of post-game interviews, and I'll have my Emptying the Notebook, which publishes the morning after every Lobo basketball regular season game. For now, I will take one more quick look, see if they posted the starting lineup yet, and they have not. So there you go. 13 minutes away from tip-off in the pit. UNM Lobos against UC Riverside. Check for all coverage later tonight and tomorrow morning. There'll be fresh coverage as well. Also, you got Lobo basketball on Saturday night in Las Cruces against New Mexico State, and Lobo football at 1 p.m. at University Stadium against Colorado State. So there you go. Guys, I appreciate you all for tuning in. As always, a lot of you guys that were on the afternoon show. The afternoon show was great. If you can go to YouTube, the Journal's YouTube channel, Fernando Lobo was with us for a full hour on the afternoon show, and it was great, man. He talked about a lot of things. He talked about retaining Jason Eck. He talked about ticket promotions. He talked about a lot of stuff that I think you'd be interested in. We got Cheesy Tots 1 saying take the points. I would too. Tonight I am saying I would take UC Riverside at 19.5. I don't think that means it's going to be a loss for the Lobos. I don't think it's going to be an uncomfortable win even. I think they'll comfortably win, but 19.5 is an awful big ask, if you ask me, for a team that just went on the road and won at North Dakota just last Thursday. So there you go. Guys, I appreciate you for coming on, and the next one of these shows will be Saturday afternoon. We'll get some post-game football thoughts, some pre-game basketball thoughts, and until next time, guys, thanks for watching.